is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Skip Money.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. So today I'm excited to have someone in our studio for the first time, and very excited to learn all about them and their enterprise, and I'm sure you will be too, because today I have the distinct pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Mr. Al Sartorelli, who is the owner-operator of Sartorelli Real Estate. Al, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Skip.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And like I said, excited to learn all about you and what you do. So if you don't mind, why don't you kick us off by telling us about your company?
Awesome, man. Well, we're a small investment real estate firm here in Western North Carolina in Asheville. We do property management, work with investors and forever home buyers and sellers here to try to help people transition either from the rental market into home ownership or to take their first steps as an investor.
Very good. Very good. Well, Al, how did you get started? What's your journey? How did you start this business?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure how I fell into it. I remember I had a girlfriend who became a fiance and then became a wife. And at the time, I wasn't really working. She was carrying most of the income load. And after we got married, very quickly, it was time for me to get a job. I was working with a friend on a lawn crew that had an account for a property management firm. And the property manager was going to quit, and they needed someone to sit in the air conditioning and answer phones instead of running a weed whip. So I quickly realized that I would do much better in the air conditioning. Worked there for a couple of days while they were looking to hire somebody and realized, man, I can do this. And slowly worked my way up through the ranks of the company to run that company. And then branched off in my own in COVID in 2020, started my own firm and, been kind of out here hustling ever since.
All right. Well, congratulations. 5 years. Nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. I think we've been doing this for about 10 total and 5 on our own, and through a hurricane and pandemic, it's been an interesting handful of years.
Yes, it has. It certainly has. Well, Al, what are some myths or misconceptions in the real estate business that you could think of?
Well, in property management specifically, I think there's a couple of pretty big ones. One of them is that every landlord is somehow a multimillionaire that's profiting off the backs of poor tenants. Most of my clients that own 1 or 2 rental properties are just barely making the mortgage payment based off of rent. So I think that's a common misconception we get from the tenant side, is that landlords are kind of like Scrooge McDuck sitting on their piles of money and just bleeding the poor tenants dry. That's not always the case. I'm sure in some areas it might be a little more true than not, but at least for us in our portfolio, most people are lucky to get the mortgage paid for the year. They're banking on that long-term equity.
I couldn't agree more. My son is in the real estate investment, and he owns some properties, and he's told me that himself. So I not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, outside of work, if there is time outside of work, what do you like to do for fun?
That's a great question. I don't know that I have a lot of time outside of work. Running a real estate firm is more work than I probably initially thought it would be. But when we do have time, we try to do a little camping, try to do some traveling, try to get out of the country once a year to see a little bit more of this world. And then typically running and weightlifting take up my weekdays and the evenings.
And weightlifting. Wow. How many days a week do you lift?
I try to be some form of workout at least 5 or 6 days a week if I can. Sometimes work prevents that. Open houses and things kind of take up a weekend. But if I can get in the gym 3 times a week and run 3 times a week, I'm pretty happy.
Hey, man, that's all it takes, man. 3 times a week. That's what I've always been told. So let's switch gears for a second. Can you describe a hardship or a life challenge that you've overcome and came out the other side better off for it? Anything come to mind?
Well, I'm sure I could spend hours talking about challenges that we face, but I think that as it pertains to business, COVID and Hurricane Helene for Western North Carolina both flipped our industry for property management on its head and made us kind of handle things with a little more empathy, a little more concern, a little more caring about our tenants. and kind of created some new processes and procedures that allowed us to be a little more in touch with our tenants and what they're going through. And that's been an amazing change for our business, because as landlords, we're not always invested in our tenants. Sometimes it's easier not to be emotionally attached when people are unable to pay rent or have life challenges. But especially after the hurricane, we were all kind of back to square one here with no power and no water and no jobs. And suddenly we all had to get through it again, kind of like COVID, together. And I think that that's been a life-changing event for everybody in the area.
Absolutely. No question. It's amazing to me that we just passed the 1 year mark. It's, in some ways it seems like it was yesterday. In other ways, it seems like it was a decade ago. It's been a long year since all that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as a whole, our town has really come a long way. We're open, we're serving food, and, all the breweries are open, and we're trying hard to get tourism back and try to dispel that image that everyone has stuck in their head of the Shenandoah River and some of the bad things that happened, while still trying to heal some of those areas. Absolutely.
Well, it's been heartwarming to see the community come together, and help each other out. It's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, Al, if you could think of one thing you'd like our viewers and listeners to remember about your real estate business, what would that be?
We're a small business. We have to care about what we're doing all the time. Some of our competition is much, much larger. And sometimes you kind of get taken up as a number and there's another thing to do for them. Here being a boutique industry, we care about our tenants. We have high customer service expectations for ourselves with our clients. We're just trying to provide a better product. Property management can be a rough game. We're not always the most liked people in the eyes of tenants. So we've been trying to turn that on its head a little bit and be a source of future endeavors for tenants, help tenants go from renting to buying houses, try to report good credit rent payments to the credit bureaus to help boost credit scores, do more than just take rent every month.
Very good. Great thing to remember. And for those of us who have a property, are looking to bring a property management team on board, how can we learn more?
Yeah, I mean, our website is probably the best place to go, and that easy way to get there is 828homerentals.com. Also, AshevillePropertyManagement.net will get you to the same site. That's got a lot of great information on our packages. You can see the homes we're marketing. You could rent a house if you wanted to, or you can click that contact us form and set up a phone consultation for any type of investment property, whether it's a single house or a 100-unit complex.
Very, very good. Well, Al, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to spend some time with me and with our listeners and viewers to tell us all about Sartorelli Real Estate, and wish you, your family, and your team all the best moving forward.
Man, Skip, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, and would love to have you back sometime.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks so much.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnptri-cities.com. That's gnptri-cities.com or call 423-719-5873.